I'd like you to open up session 10, and in session 10, about slide number 27, I might be off a slide or two, I give you sort of the finished waterfall method, the system I use for crafting a strategy that takes you right straight down through your goals and objectives into strategies, into the action plans, and with some metrics for making sure those things are achieved. What's not on the slide, but it's materials we've already covered in the course, is the preamble to getting into crafting a strategy. That exercise that we've been talking about with dumping all the data, the information, the knowledge on the table, sifting it, and then once we have a sense of that, then we go on to the waterfall method to craft our strategies for our respective organizations. But I thought by way of wrapping up the course today, I might try, although a little some new technology here with my friend Bonnycastle, Dave Adams, a fabulous individual. I want to try something a little new and just explain to you, if I can, using some of his graphics, some of the considerations that we would turn our minds to prior to starting and being able to get underway with the waterfall method. And so having said that, within your organization, whether it's a brand new startup or whether it's your existing firm, we have to get back in touch with our values, those things Peter Thomas talked about, the values of the organization, the importance of alignment of the values, your values and the organization values. The better they're aligned, the less policies and procedures you need in place to make sure the right things are being done by the people. You also then want to undertake some sort of a pest analysis of the whole ecosystem, some sense of what the water in the bathtub we've been talking about looks like, what it's all about. We need to understand that. We need to possibly do some sort of industry analysis to say, for the resources that you have, is this the right industry for you to be in? Industries change. The buggy whip industry changes, and it may be you have to take your resources and move to something fresh. We've seen through Hewlett Packard in our last week's session, people like Meg Whitman, with those sort of consequences. Do they get out of the printer business and move to some other part of that particular industry? And so we need to do some sort of an industry analysis to get a sense of, is it good or bad? And there we use Porter's 5 Forces as a model to do that. Then having done that, if you would imagine for a minute over here, we have this marvelous big balloon that represents the competencies, the assets, the dollars, the people, the ideas that we have to work with within that sphere, within that balloon. That's what the company has to work with. And then having recognized that, then we have to go and do probably some sort of SWOT analysis. The first part anyway, the strengths and weaknesses of what this organization has to work with. And then we turn our minds to 7 billion people in the world over here, another large balloon, if you will, sitting over here. And we have to look at those 7 billion people to see what are their needs, what are their wants, what do they value, what's the value proposition that we have to capture in order to take these sort of folks and find at what point our company's capabilities and what the customer needs kind of come together and kind of overlap. And you see this overlap area here, that's the area that we can service at the present time. And so there we talk in terms of value chains, we talk in terms of some sort of an assessment of a value proposition model that we've talked about. We talk in terms of consumption chain analysis to make sure the customers are getting what they want. We talk in terms of customer responsiveness. All those sort of things come into this little center area that we've been talking about. And then we turn our mind to the competition. Out there's a great number of competitors trying to compete with us, and we need to understand them. Sun Tzu says, know yourself and know your enemy, and your chances of success are excellent. And so with that in mind, we now turn to the bottom sort of balloon, if you would, and look here at our competitors and what services and things and offerings and competitive advantages they have. And we need to analyze that, and we do that using a competitive analysis of our competitors, using probably the SMART model, the simple multi-attribute rating technique model. And then once we've done that, we superimpose that up over the other two balloons, and we see up here this small little wedge up over here. We call that the sweet spot, the A spot. And so keep in mind that A spot, that's our territory, that's the piece that we own, that's our terrain that we stand on, that's the piece we craft our vision and our mission to focus all our resources on. That little A spot, that sweet spot, is what we're aiming for. And so having done that sort of exercise, and with that sort of understanding of the ecosystem, of a SWOT analysis, of a pest analysis, of our competitors, of the industry itself, and what we have to work with, we now turn our minds to the waterfall method on actually sitting down and crafting your strategy. And that will take you through the piece. I hope that's helpful.